Hi everyone, Grace here, and I'm here to talk about a topic that's close to my heart, staying strong and healthy as we age. It is all about preventative care and making sure you have the information you need to live your best life. Have you ever wondered why, even though you eat well, exercise, and do everything right, your legs still feel weaker than they used to? Maybe you've noticed that climbing stairs feels a bit more challenging, or that it takes just a little longer to get up from your favorite chair. We're diving deep into a topic many people don't realize could be impacting their health. How certain fruits can actually weaken your legs as you get older. Here's the surprising truth. Sometimes it's not about what you're not doing. In fact, you might already be making a mistake every single day. One that feels so harmless, so healthy, that you'd never suspect it's slowly undermining your strength and mobility. I'm going to break down the science behind why these fruits might not be your best friends as you age and what you can do about it. We're going to uncover the surprising connection between what's on your plate and how strong you feel. Stay tuned, because in a few minutes, I'm also going to share the fruits you should be eating to build strength and support your overall health as you age. Remember, growing older isn't about deprivation. It's about making informed choices that support your health and well-being. So, please like and subscribe to our channel for daily health tips. Let's kick things off with a fruit that often gets hailed as a health hero: the pineapple. I know, pineapple conjures up images of tropical breezes, juicy sweetness, and refreshing summer snacks. And it's true, pineapple does contain bromelain, a natural enzyme that can help reduce inflammation. But here's the thing. While pineapple might be beneficial for younger individuals, it can actually have the opposite effect for older adults. Why? Because pineapple is loaded with strong acids and natural sugars. And as we age, our blood vessels become more delicate and sensitive. They simply don't handle sugar spikes the way they used to. So, when you eat pineapple, especially in large amounts, you're essentially giving your bloodstream a powerful dose of natural sugar, one that can quickly raise your blood sugar levels. And this is where things get tricky for your legs. Those sudden sugar spikes can damage the tiny blood vessels that supply your legs, feet, and muscles. Over time, as circulation deteriorates, less oxygen reaches your legs. And when your leg muscles don't get enough oxygen, it can lead to a whole host of problems. Think about it. Your legs are your foundation. They support you, help you move, and keep you active. The result of this decreased circulation? You might start experiencing pain, exhaustion, and swelling after even a short walk. That dull, dragging ache in your legs, the stiffness in your knees, or the sudden ankle pain after sitting for a while. Pineapple could be a hidden culprit. And it doesn't stop there. We talked about the sugar content in pineapple, but there's another factor at play here. It's acidity. Pineapple's acidity can actually irritate your joints, especially if you already struggle with inflammation or arthritis. It's like pouring fuel on a smoldering fire in your ankles, hips, and knees. Some people even notice their legs feel heavy after eating pineapple, as if their strength is slowly draining away. It's not just in your head. It's a real physiological response to the inflammation and potential blood sugar spike. And here's another thing to keep in mind, especially if you're over 60. If you're on medication, especially blood thinners, pineapple's bromelain can interact with your drugs, making them either too strong or not strong enough. This is why it's crucial to talk to your doctor about your diet, especially if you're taking any medications. The most dangerous part about all of this? Pineapple's negative effects are subtle. There's no immediate pain or obvious warning sign. The damage creeps in slowly, until one day you realize you can't move like you used to. So what can you do? You don't have to completely eliminate pineapple from your diet, but moderation is key. Let's move on to another fruit that often gets touted as a health food, the banana. Now, I know what you're thinking. Bananas are soft, sweet, packed with potassium, and often recommended for energy, muscle cramps, and overall health. And while that's true to an extent, for seniors, the story is a bit different. Here's the thing. Bananas are relatively high in natural sugar and fast-digesting carbohydrates. This means that right after you eat one, especially on an empty stomach, your blood sugar spikes. And as we age, our bodies become less efficient at regulating blood sugar. This means your body, which may already be less sensitive to insulin, struggles to keep up with these sugar spikes. When this happens repeatedly, it creates a cascade of negative effects. Circulation weakens, inflammation rises, and your legs pay the price. You might notice a dull soreness when walking or climbing stairs, heaviness in your legs after meals, or stiffness in your calves. These are all signs that your body is struggling to keep up. And if you have any pre-existing heart issues, it's even more important to be mindful of your banana intake. Bananas can actually make you retain more fluid, which can lead to swollen feet, stiff joints, and puffy ankles. This fluid retention puts extra stress on your cardiovascular system, which is the last thing you want as you get older. The effect of these repeated blood sugar spikes is often silent and cumulative. You eat bananas thinking they'll help your muscles because of their potassium content. But over time, they can actually drain your strength and contribute to joint pain. The worst part? The impact isn't immediate. It builds up gradually, making movement harder and more painful as the months go by. You might not even realize that the bananas you're eating are contributing to the problem. So, if you often experience heavy, aching, or swollen legs, especially after eating, take a closer look at the fruits on your plate. Those bananas might not be as friendly as they seem, especially if you're eating them in excess. Remember, it's all about balance. We're not saying you can never have a banana again, but it's crucial to be mindful of your intake and to pair bananas with other foods that can help mitigate their blood sugar spiking effects. For example, try having a banana with a handful of nuts or a tablespoon of nut butter. The healthy fats and protein in nuts will help slow down the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream. All right, let's talk grapes. We all know they're full of antioxidants, and they seem like a healthy snack. But here's the thing about grapes, especially for my seniors out there. They're loaded with fructose. Now, fructose in moderation isn't a bad thing, but grapes are easy to overeat. Before you know it, you've popped a whole cup, and that's where the trouble starts. See? Your body processes fructose differently than other sugars. It goes straight to your liver, and when your liver gets overloaded with fructose, it can turn it into fat and, more importantly, uric acid. High uric acid levels are a big no-no, especially for your joints. Think about it. High uric acid is like pouring salt into your joints. It causes inflammation, leading to pain, stiffness, and swelling. You might feel it in your big toe, ankles, or knees. That sharp, sudden pain in your big toe at night? Yep, sometimes it can be from something as innocent seeming as grapes. And here's the thing. Because grapes are so easy to snack on, it's really easy to consume a large amount of fructose without realizing it. We're talking 2-3 cups easily, and each grape adds to the total fructose load your liver has to deal with. Over time, this can lead to chronic inflammation and make those aches and pains worse. We often associate sugary drinks and processed foods with inflammation, but we don't always think about fruits. But the truth is, even natural sugars can contribute to inflammation, especially when we consume them in excess. Remember, as we age, our bodies become less efficient at processing sugar. Our metabolism slows down and our insulin sensitivity can fluctuate. This means that those sugar spikes from grapes can hit us harder and linger longer, leading to that dreaded inflammation. And the thing about grapes is that they're often marketed as a healthy snack. We see them in fruit salads, on cheese boards, and even recommended as part of a heart-healthy diet. And while they do have some health benefits, it's crucial to be mindful of the quantity we consume, especially if we're already experiencing joint pain or stiffness. So, what's the takeaway here? Enjoy grapes in moderation. Be mindful of your portion sizes, and if you notice any increase in joint pain or stiffness, it might be worth cutting back on your grape intake and seeing if that makes a difference. Okay, watermelon. It's summer, it's hot, and nothing beats a big, juicy slice of watermelon, right? Wrong. At least, not for everyone, especially not my seniors. Here's the thing. Watermelon has a surprisingly high glycemic index. Now, the glycemic index measures how quickly a food raises your blood sugar. And watermelon, despite being mostly water, spikes your blood sugar almost as fast as a can of soda. Not what you'd expect from this refreshing fruit, right? For younger folks, this might not be a huge deal. Their bodies can handle those sugar spikes. But as we age, our bodies become less efficient at regulating blood sugar. Our insulin response isn't as quick, and those sugar spikes can lead to a cascade of negative effects. One of the biggest issues with these sugar spikes is inflammation. When your blood sugar spikes, your body releases insulin to try and bring it back down. But if this happens too frequently, it can lead to something called insulin resistance, which is a major driver of inflammation throughout the body. Now, you might be thinking, but watermelon is mostly water. How can it be bad? And it's true, watermelon is hydrating. But it's also packed with natural sugars, primarily fructose. And fructose, as we discussed with grapes, can be tricky for the body to process, especially in large amounts. The problem is, watermelon is so light and refreshing that it's easy to eat a lot of it without realizing how much sugar you're consuming. One slice turns into 2, then 3, and before you know it, you've consumed a significant amount of sugar. And remember, those sugar spikes from watermelon can lead to inflammation, especially in areas with poor circulation, like your legs and feet. You might notice increased fatigue, leg cramps, especially at night, or swelling in your ankles and feet. So what's the bottom line? Enjoy watermelon in moderation. Stick to a smaller slice and be mindful of how much you're consuming, especially if you're watching your blood sugar levels or experiencing any leg pain or swelling. All right, let's talk oranges. they're a breakfast staple, known for their vitamin C and immune-boosting properties. But here's the thing about oranges, especially for my seniors, they're loaded with citric acid. Now, citric acid in small amounts isn't necessarily a bad thing. It gives oranges their tangy flavor and can even be beneficial for digestion. But when we consume large amounts of citric acid, it can start to cause problems, particularly for our joints. You see, citric acid is highly acidic, and when we consume too much of it, it can disrupt the delicate pH balance in our bodies. This can lead to inflammation, especially in our joints, which are already more susceptible to wear and tear as we age. Think about it. You wouldn't pour orange juice on an open wound, right? Well, for some people, consuming large amounts of citric acid can feel like that internally, especially if they already have inflammation in their joints. Now, you might be thinking, but I only have a small glass of orange juice in the morning? And that's great. Moderation is key. But it's important to remember that citric acid is also found in other citrus fruits like grapefruits, lemons, and limes. So, if you're consuming orange juice, grapefruit for breakfast, and adding lemon to your water throughout the day, it can add up. And if you're already prone to joint pain or inflammation, that extra citric acid could be contributing to your discomfort. The tricky thing about citric acid is that its effects can be subtle and build up over time. You might not feel it immediately, but slowly, you might notice increased stiffness in your joints, especially in the morning, or pain that flares up after sitting for long periods. So, what's the takeaway? Enjoy oranges and other citrus fruits in moderation. Be mindful of your intake, and if you notice any connection between your citrus consumption and joint pain, it might be worth cutting back and seeing if that makes a difference. So, you're reaching for a green apple, thinking you're making the healthy choice. After all, it's tart, not overly sweet like those red apples, right? Well, here's the thing. Those green apples, as innocent as they seem, could be secretly contributing to your fatigue, stiffness, and even leg pain. And it all comes down to two sneaky culprits, malic acid and those hidden natural sugars. Now, malic acid is what gives green apples that signature tart flavor. But here's the catch. It can be pretty rough on your digestion, especially as you get older. See, your gut lining becomes more sensitive over time, and that malic acid can trigger discomfort that radiates to your hips, thighs, and even your knees. You might even experience a slight burning in your feet, or a tightness in your knees after munching on a green apple. And don't let the tartness fool you. Green apples still pack a punch of natural sugars. While they might not taste as sweet as their red counterparts, those sugars can still mess with your blood sugar levels, especially if you're over 60. We're talking tired calves, those annoying nighttime leg cramps, morning stiffness, and feeling weak climbing the stairs. The worst part? People often reach for green apples as a quick, healthy snack, sometimes even before bed. This means your body's constantly dealing with those sneaky sugars and that malic acid. They might look healthy on the surface, but they could be making it harder to walk, stiffening your joints, and even messing with your sleep. Now, I'm not saying you need to banish green apples from your diet entirely, but it's all about moderation and understanding how they might be affecting you. Remember, the effects of these seemingly harmless fruits can be cumulative. That means they build up over time. One green apple today might not cause any noticeable discomfort, but if you're eating them regularly, day after day, week after week, those subtle aches, stiffness, and fatigue can gradually worsen. You might not even realize, that the green apple you consider a healthy snack is actually contributing to your discomfort. So, what's the takeaway here? Pay attention to your body. If you notice increased stiffness, pain, or fatigue, especially after eating green apples, it might be a sign to cut back. Try swapping them out for other fruits lower in malic acid and natural sugars. Remember, aging gracefully is all about making smart choices that support your body's changing needs. And sometimes, that means rethinking those foods we've always considered healthy. Stay tuned, because up next, we're diving into another deceptively sweet fruit that could be wreaking havoc on your legs. Mangoes. Ah, mangoes. Juicy, soft, almost candy-like in their sweetness. They're a summer staple, a taste of the tropics. But for seniors, especially those experiencing joint weakness and leg pain, mangoes could be the most harmful fruit on your plate. And the reason is simple: sugar. Mangoes are loaded with it. Natural sugar, yes, but your body doesn't differentiate when it comes to spiking your blood sugar levels. And believe me, mangoes can send those levels soaring. Now, if you're young, active, maybe under 30, your metabolism can usually handle those sugar bombs. But after 60, your metabolism slows down and those sugar spikes hit differently. We're talking insulin crashes, inflammation flaring up deep in your joints. It's like setting a slow burning fire in your body. And where do you feel it most? Your legs. That burning sensation in your toes. That tingling that just won't quit. Your feet swelling up in the evenings. That heavy feeling in your legs that makes every step a chore. Mangoes could be the culprit. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Grace, mangoes taste so light and refreshing. And you're right, they do. But here's the thing. Your body doesn't care about the sensation of lightness. It cares about the sugar content, and mangoes are packed with it. It's easy to overindulge in mangoes. One slice turns into 2, then 3, and before you know it, you've consumed a whole mango's worth of sugar. And while that might seem harmless, over time, those sugar bombs can lead to chronic joint pain, sluggishness, difficulty walking, and even unsteady legs. The problem is, many seniors view mangoes as a natural treat, a healthier alternative to processed sweets. And while they are natural, that doesn't make them any less harmful to aging joints and compromised circulation. Remember, it's all about balance. Enjoy mangoes in moderation, being mindful of your portion sizes. And if you're experiencing any leg pain, stiffness, or swelling, it's worth considering cutting back on mangoes to see if it makes a difference. If you've made it this far, it tells me you're serious about your health, your strength, and your future. And I want you to know, it's never too late to make a change. You have the power to reclaim your vitality, and you don't have to do it alone. Aging can be tough. The stiffness, the pain, the fear of falling, it can creep up on you, making you feel like your body is betraying you. But here's the truth. You are in control. Small, sensible changes to your diet can make a world of difference. One meal, one fruit, one decision at a time. The fruits we've talked about today aren't inherently bad. They just might not be the best choice for your body right now. And that's okay. Growing older isn't about deprivation. It's about making informed choices that support your health and well-being. When you start eating mindfully, choosing foods that nourish your joints, boost your circulation, and fuel your energy, you'll feel the difference. Less pain, more flexibility, smoother mornings, and lighter steps. That's the goal. Not fear or restriction, but empowerment and vitality. If you liked this video, please like and comment. Ask me any questions in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself. See you in the next video.